The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. The clock is ticking, counting down the remaining moments before Rebeccah and Lance fall prey to the wealthy Victor Sharkarov. Will Rellik and Simon be able to help? Listen into this final episode of Kurt's Game and find out what happens. Enjoy the podcast.
Yes. We are back in the shed for Adventures from the Shed. Everyone, this is Kurt. I am guest game mastering. Joe, thanks for letting me do it. We are psyched to be back here for the third and final hour today of our modern espionage adventure. I'll give you all a recap in a little bit, but before we do that, I want to remind you, check us out at adventuresfromtheshed.com. That'll link you up to all of our social media. Most importantly, you can find us on Facebook where there's some conversation going on. And we would love it if you consider giving us a 5-star rating or any rating at all over on iTunes, because that will help people find the show. If you like gaming, Dungeons & Dragons, and other role-playing games, we hope you'll listen, and we hope you'll recommend us to your friends. All right, I'll give a recap in a minute. But before then, let's go around the table, and I will start with my left with Miss Rebeccah, the hacker.
Hi, everyone. This is Mickie. I play Rebeccah, the hacker/cat burglar, criminal background mastermind of this dastardly duo. No, there's 4 of us.
That's a duo times 2.
There you go.
It's a double duo.
Squared duo.
Duo square.
That's
actually pretty good right there.
Actually pretty is, yeah. So JJ here, and I'm playing Rellik Nils. He is the gruff and, just angry old guy that's, really good at driving because he doesn't believe in this newfangled Tesla autopilot crap.
He's an angry old
But
dude.
he's the, I'm getting too old for this shit.
Whose dad's in the group?
This is Chris. I'm playing Simon Magus, the cunning linguist.
I get it.
Are you a master debater?
Sometimes.
Nice. And I'm Joe. I'm playing Lance McBell, the ex-cop with a hand of fake.
A hand of fake indeed. And as I said, I am Kurt. I am game mastering this one-shot adventure. And we have a team of 4 highly trained, super covert operatives working to defend American interests. Over our last couple of episodes, they have been working to find out what has been happening with the death and disappearance of multiple white hat hackers who are working for the agencies and for the team here. They have found Hans Schreiber with his throat slit ear to ear. Yeah. They found Zheng Huang with his the back of his head blown off by a shotgun in Chinatown. And then they were invited out to a party.
Zheng also had the black triangle on his hand.
He did, you're right. So both of them had some type of black triangle marking. And then Rebeccah, the hacker, was invited out to a party being thrown by the CEO of FeedingFrenzy.com. And when she and Lance entered the party...
Say it.
Say it?
It was a trap.
It's a trap! So they realized that the connection between Feeding Frenzy and the shark fin and all of this led to Victor Sharkarov, who is the... at least his front is that he's the CEO of FeedingFrenzy.com. At this point in time, Simon is working as a covert member of the food services staff. Rellik is waiting outside, presumably in the getaway ride. But when we finished the episode, Victor, who had been very, very charming, let his facade down and showed Rebeccah that his intentions were not pure and that he had no interest in her or her team continuing the defense of these hackers, these white hat hackers. And when he left the library in which they were situated, Lance and Rebeccah smelled what could not be good gas coming into the room. So we're going to pick up there. The room that they are in is a old-fashioned kind of Harvard Club-style library. The building they're in is a very modern contemporary, but this is a dark-paneled mahogany library with leather chairs, inlaid bookshelves to the ceiling. This is 18 to 20-foot ceilings, leather chairs. Lance was having a brandy while Victor conferred and chatted with Rebeccah. At the end of last episode, Victor left the room, closed the doors behind him. They latched solidly. And at that point, both of the characters immediately started to smell some type of gas entering the room, and they knew it was not good. And they knew that at best they can hold their breath for 3 minutes, and we are going to play their attempt to escape from this room in real time. So
We're dead.
before we start that,
Question. In my observation as watching this thing, did Victor open the door into the room? And
That was my question. Does the door swing in or out?
so the door, it actually is a double door that swung in to the library.
Okay.
And he closed it, pulling it behind him. And you would think that would be an easy door to break, but this is as you will see, a solid door with a numeric key lock on it and
I was thinking
keypads.
about the hinges.
So,
but where are the hinges are on the inside then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hinges on the
So that
inside.
we can just
we could pull the pins out.
there you go and just leave.
hey,
Get the
stop.
fuck out of my head!
The gas is starting now. You guys can figure it out. You have 3 minutes.
Can I pull the pins out of the hinges and open the door that way?
Is Lance wearing his glasses?
We have more than 3 minutes because Kurt messed up the time.
Hang on a second.
Awesome!
Hang on a second.
GM fail.
Well,
Let's go.
That's awesome.
Are you wearing your glasses, Lance?
Oh yeah, I'd still
There we
be
go.
wearing.
Two-
Can we switch
59.
it to like a thermal view so you can get the his touching of the pad? Maybe the
You can try that. And the
Yeah, but you still got
See
4
which code.
So
but no,
Lance
just pull the
tosses
pins.
away the copy of Reef Fin Sharks and How to Swim with Them onto the floor and immediately runs over to the door and starts monkeying with the door to see if he can get it open.
All right, so he monkeys
Brute
the door.
force.
He pulls. There's no movement at all.
Okay.
Are there any air vents in the room?
So you look around. Roll a very quick perception check. Quick, both of you.
And Lance,
Oh, shit.
All right,
okay,
Lance
I
looks
would
up.
have 19.
Lance sees a moderate, medium-sized vent, 15 feet up on one wall, so 5 feet down from the top of the ceiling, but it appears bolted with screws on.
All right, we're screwed, and so is that vent.
You've already seen a large bay window on one wall.
Yep.
There's a vent, and there's a numeric keypad on the door.
The other side, there's
2
got to be
minutes
more
and
than
10
one
seconds.
exit out of the room. What's the other exit? There's got to be more than one exit out of the room. What's the other exit?
That's the only door.
There's only one door into the room. This place is not up to fire code. I call foul.
Shoot
2
the
minutes.
shoot the window.
Okay.
Shoot the window.
I go right up to it, take out my silenced Walther PPK, and start shooting to try and spiderweb the window, assuming it's going to be a pretty heavy-duty window.
Okay.
And I'll just keep shooting rounds into it because I'm not going to make enough noise to disturb anyone in the party on the other side of the door.
All right, so bam, 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 bam.
No, it's more like...
Hit the glass. It starts to spider.
Yeah.
Fairly small spiders. It's definitely cracked it, but nowhere near breaking the glass. It's obviously reinforced bulletproof. 130.
Punch it.
Because I
hand
know
gets
I know
through.
my hand can be replaced. My left hand, I'll just start bashing it as hard as I can against a spot that is spiderwebbed. I am not particularly strong.
Okay. So you roll me a very quick D20 plus strength.
I'm seeing all
18.
this, right?
Okay. All right. So that actually makes a significant. It's now started to spider significantly. 110.
Okay.
I'm going to get the 4-way tire iron out, and I'm going to start throwing it at the window from the outside.
From outside. Quick roll plus 4. D20 plus 4. Quick.
15.
Awesome. All right. That's more. 50 seconds. So the glass appears to be breaking significantly at this point. You hear also commotion outside. They've clearly heard this noise, heard some type of shooting, and people are coming.
Okay, I say to
45 seconds.
Say to Rebecca, we need to build momentum. We're going to run together, and we're going to run.
We're gonna ram
We're
it.
gonna run hand first with my fist in front of me, both of us together, holding onto each other as much kinetic energy as we can get behind
30 seconds.
the run right up to the window.
Let's ram it.
Let's do it.
So
Together.
all right, and this is so you're on the first
So
floor.
both of us together, what's that, like 150 pounds maybe?
All right, so you're going to run.
Sorry.
At this point, 18 seconds left. You guys are together. You run, and you throw yourself full effort at the window. Roll me 2d6s.
That's 8 on the dice.
Add
4 on the
strength.
4. Plus 2 for me, 10.
Same here. Quick.
2d6.
2d6.
Oh, 2d6.
10 seconds.
Oh,
12.
she rolled 12.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. We
All
made
right,
it through.
So you both launch yourselves full effort, no restraint. As your
Maximum
lungs,
effort.
You're barely able to exert the energy because you've been holding your breath so long that it's like that moment where you're almost about to pass out from holding it. And as you hit the spider glass, fortunately, it breaks completely beyond you, and you go flying through the glass, both of you together. You can see it almost in slow motion out the window.
Tuck and roll.
There's an open kind of a patio with kind of fancy ornate Roman design outside, and you both go falling out ass over teacup onto the patio.
I'm going to go with the first episode and say every time Lance goes through something, it's a belly flop.
If you want a belly flop,
He's not at all graceful.
All right.
Not at all.
6 seconds to spare. You guys are outside of there. At this point, inside the library, the doors barge open. 3 of the security guards in tuxedos, weapons drawn, are coming into the library behind you.
And I say, don't read that book.
Take cover.
So, one of the blonde, kind of Germanic-looking guys pulls up right at you, boom, 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 shooting at Lance, and the first couple miss, and then a bullet hits you right in the back of your calf, and like
All right, fine. Read the book then.
a solid hit, like
Okay.
you've been shot in the leg.
Son of a bitch. Now I'm like Rellik.
Right. So you're on the ground holding your calf. What are you doing?
Tourniquet to help him, to prevent him from bleeding out, and then I'm going to help. Can you hear me?
I can.
Is that better?
I'm just thinking about how easy you're going to be able to shoot while you're giving him a tourniquet.
Well, I've got to help
He can
keep
put
him
it
from
in.
bleeding out.
I'm also out in there as well. So
He was close enough to have thrown a tire iron.
All right. So tell me what you guys are all doing.
So I
I'm
would-
going to fire back while she
I have
works
to-
on pulling him to safety.
That's what I said. Tie him, give him a tourniquet, and then pull him
No,
to cover.
you pull him to safety first, then tourniquet him.
All right, fine. Do that. I don't give a shit.
Get yourself to safety and him, and then
All
So there's a nice
and
trail
you
to
so
are-
I provide covering fire.
You're providing covering fire, just generally into the room to slow
Yep.
them down. All right, so you succeed at that. There's no problem there. And what is Simon doing?
Well, since I'm already in the building, I'd rather come up behind him and take some shots at him.
All right, describe it more.
At me?
No, well, these guys they burst in the library, so I can just follow them up the steps as they were going.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're behind. I mean, so if you wanted to, I mean, you could almost walk up and
Yep.
Yeah,
headshot
like,
these
it's
guys.
totally, yeah.
They're behind
bra.
covered, trying to not get shot by
Yeah, they're
me.
busy.
You
I just
walk
want
up
to,
and-
want to sneak up and
All right, roll
back
me,
of the head.
Roll me a D4.
You tell him you ordered the assassination.
Roll,
I deliver.
Roll a D4.
3.
Roll it again,
You didn't fail enough yet.
3.
and one more time.
Keep going till you get a 1.
3.
2.
No. All right. So you and what kind of gun do you have? What are
That's a
you?
Glock 26 because I had an ankle carry.
Remind us what the D4 is for.
It's 9mm.
So in this particular case, for him, this should be, while risky overall, the making of this shot should be an easy shot for him because he's coming up behind them. They don't know he's there. So I was basically looking, if he
Execution
rolled a
style.
1, he would miss.
All right.
And he did not roll any 1. So what you've come up the stairs, you're flying up the stairs. As you do it, you reach down inside your right ankle, you pull your Glock out, and then you literally are 3 feet behind these
Yeah,
guys,
pop,
and
pop,
you go
pop.
down the line, pop, pop, pop.
Yep.
And all 3 of the guys drop dead as a doornail on the library in front of you. Now you're standing in the middle of the party where you've clearly just shot the CEO's security staff.
Well, I thought we were upstairs in the librry.
Yeah. You are.
Yeah,
But remember, it's a 2-floor party. There are
Yeah.
guests. So,
Yeah.
so, like, you can't stand around. And
Oh, no, I'm
hang out
going
there.
out the window.
All right, so you're going out the window.
Coming out, the weather's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so now at this point, everyone is outside.
Correct.
All right. Okay, so everyone is outside. The immediate threat is gone, but obviously you just shot your way out of a San Francisco apartment, and there's more security than those 3 people. So what are we doing next?
We're gonna get into the Tesla P100DX or thingy, the new one that can go 0 to 100 in 2.2 seconds.
So we're gonna in Pacific Heights. If you go at that speed, you're going to be airborne very quickly. So, all right. So
We don't need roads.
Yeah,
where we're
heights
going.
being the key word. Yeah.
All right. So this is a 4-person vehicle.
It is.
You're driving,
It is, and,
right.
and I am.
and was the car right there, or do you guys have?
Yeah,
to get to
it was right outside. I parked right outside the party. It didn't look out of place at all.
All right. Who's in the passenger seat?
Lance is going to be in.
Yeah.
I would imagine-
Throw him in the back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be shotgun.
Simon.
I'll be
Lance doesn't react well to being hurt, and he's probably delirious.
All right. So
you big baby.
He is, definitely.
all right. So at this point, you are on Washington Street. Your car is faced west. You tear out of there, and at the same time that you tear out of there, you see a Mercedes 500 SL convertible with what
Nice
you
car.
think is Victor, 100 yards ahead of you, tearing west on Washington.
All right, I'll catch up to him then.
All right, so you're gonna chase him.
Yeah.
All right.
Take 'em out.
We're gonna have a bunch of rolls here, but let's start with a D20 plus driving.
The battery catches on fire.
Yeah.
Damn it! It's not a Tesla Roadster.
24.
Awesome. All right. So
Hey,
for listeners at home, Pacific Heights is one of the very high-end neighborhoods in San Francisco, but it is laid out perfectly on a grid. It is a lot of cross streets, and there are not many stop lights, stop signs going east to west every block. And north to south is a very, very steep drop as you go from Pacific Heights dropping down to the water in the Marina District. So we're basically running the top ridge east to west. If we were to turn right or north, I guess it might be, I'm not 100% sure about that.
North.
If we were to turn towards the Golden Gate Bridge in Marin County, we would be dropping down very sharply down towards the marina or eventually the Presidio Park. So you are now heading basically on a flat ground going west on Washington, trying to catch up with what we think is Victor, and you are gaining ground on him quickly given that roll. Are you stopping for stop signs? Are you ignoring them? Well, how are we navigating traffic here?
I'm thinking I would just blow through them and react.
Okay, so you all right. So you are blowing through down on Washington. You cross
Across Lion
Baker,
Street.
cross Lion. You're moving out. Laurel is a couple blocks ahead of you, and at that point, you see the Mercedes make a hard right, skidding, fishtailing, burning rubber, busting a right on Laurel and heading downhill.
I'm sorry, did you just say busting a right?
Busting a right.
Wow.
So we
Pretty good.
went past Lions, past Presidio, past Walnut, and then...
Then Laurel. Correct.
Okay.
I mean, these are all 100 yards apart. This is small blocks.
I guess I would make a hard right onto Walnut, which is the street preceding Laurel.
Walnut dead ends at UFC.
All right,
So does Laurel.
UCF.
All right, can you roll a D4 for me?
Sure.
I think Delirious
A
in
one.
the back seat, I
A
would
one.
say, through the park. You know I love the park.
Okay, so you rolled a 1. As you make a right on Laurel, you completely lose control of the car, and the back end not only slides, but you actually spin out towards 180 degrees and not crash wreck, but definitely smash into the corner of the apartment building on there. And
Good
the
job,
car
Rellik.
stops. I mean, it's stopped by the wall.
Then I keep going.
Okay?
Good job, Rellik.
So at this point, you cannot see the other car. It's a block up from you, and you've just been slowed down by that stop. So you keep going on Walnut, moving north, and you're driving and moving downhill, and you don't see anything in front of you. So tell me what you're doing.
I'm making go down to Pacific and then make a left.
All right, so you move to Pacific. Now, Pacific's got a little bit heavier traffic than some of these other streets. So you're going to bust a left, roll me a D4.
3.
All right, so you, learning from the last move, you adjust. You start this one a little bit wider and then cut really hard. You pop the accelerator as you're making the turns, which helps you hold the turn, and you come out of there nice and smooth, perfectly into traffic, no problem.
Tesla's got a lot of torque, man. Electric's got a lot of torque.
Yeah.
Hard to get used to.
The last time he mistakenly braked
Yeah.
into the turn instead of rolling and accelerating.
Gosh.
He was,
You gotta turn
he was
into
distracted by Rebecca's beauty, you know, in the back seat.
She's
So-
probably got my blood on her hands.
or something like that. All right, so now you're coming across on Pacific, and at this point, Lance, you notice that there's traffic coming up aggressively behind you, or cars. There's at least a car coming up aggressively behind you.
We've got company.
I'm going to shoot out the back window.
My leg hurts. What happened?
You got shot.
I
Brother,
got shot?
brother, you got shot.
I pass out.
Lance passes out in the back seat.
Good
So-
job.
I didn't know I got shot.
All right, so you're up front, you're in the back.
You got anything heavy hitting besides this Glock in here?
I got nothing.
It's an Uber Tesla.
No, it wasn't an Uber Tesla. I don't know why
We
we're
got
doing
to
Uber
roll
thing.
because of New York. We got to roll down the windows and try to shoot back. Shoot the tires.
It's harder from the front.
All right, so you guys, so you're linked into your satellites, and you know that he's got to get down, and he's going to have to get to Presidio Boulevard down through the park, because that's the only thing near here that will get him where he needs to go.
I would relay
I'm
that information
so
to him.
confused.
Rellik, Presidio Park.
No, I'm looking at a map.
You
Like-
need to get on Presidio Boulevard.
So what you're saying is we did, because this is, according to this anyways, we basically did this and then made a
Correct.
right.
Correct.
And then you're going to come back down this way?
Back into here.
If
This
we
is
have
one
any
road.
listeners in San Francisco or familiar with San Francisco, feel free to show us what we've done wrong.
What I'm saying is why did we
Find us
go
on
by it?
Facebook. Make your comments out there. And
Because we actually started right here. It's just the way that the traffic chase went. I mean,
It was just
Yeah, no, I
here.
get that. It's just, and I cut him off.
He's just
and-
trying. trying to get away, and you're
you
trying
didn't
to follow
cut him off. You turned a block before him.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, but he's
he
trying to-
went out and came down Laurel,
He's
which is
trying
way
to-
over here. I came down this, and he's still trying to get this way.
Correct,
So
but
I
you
cut him
wiped
off.
out at the
You
corner.
wiped out at the corner.
And
Yeah.
so he's
So it
now
slowed
well
us down.
ahead of you and coming
made
back
it
to the
away.
Presidio.
Right.
Okay.
So
I mean,
we're
I mean, even just stopping for 20 seconds in there would be enough for him to
Yeah.
make it a block.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
So now we're through Presidio. We're in Presidio National Park. Tearing up.
He might be a better driver than you, old man.
how far away is the car?
The car's not going to be better, though. Like, I'm
That's
not
tr- well,
selling it short.
No, but so here's the thing. Where you have been driving, Pacific Heights is tight, narrow, single lane, residential, and now you're going to get to an area, if you go down in the park, where you're going to be able to air it out. So you, if you can drive well, should be able to catch him in the park.
Okay.
So the Presidio Boulevard is all green space, winding, downhill park, large trees, and this is going to be a long, looping, winding road, but no really sharp turns, no really sharp hairpins or anything. So you can rip it through here once you get there.
All right.
All right. So at least one car behind you. Any
How close are they?
Yeah.
like half a block back. Just let it go.
I'll wait till they get closer. Yeah.
All right. JJ,
I'm going.
you're going.
Yeah.
All right.
Knowing that they're near the park, Lance would instinctively wake back up and be ready to shoot out one of the driver or passenger side rear windows because it's a 4-door.
Okay.
We're in a saloon.
I rolled a 22 to drive.
Awesome. So you are catching. They're clearly within sight. You're closing up on them, and at that point, there's a goon who's been basically down in the back seat. This is a convertible. It's got one of those small mini back seats, and he pops up and he's got some type of machine gun, and he is just spraying back at you guys.
Serpentine.
All right, I'll take some shots at that. guy.
Oh man. I literally
You
just
rolled
rolled
a
a
one.
1 on the
Nice.
D20, so he's spraying like
shot
movie
himself.
style.
Yeah,
and
from the hip.
And somehow, the Tesla is just completely missed. So you continue to move on him. Roll me a driving check here.
Natural 20.
Awesome.
As soon as the bullets start coming from the front of the car,
Right.
I change my Lance will change his focus from the rear to the front and be ready to pop a shot off as soon as he can at that guy who's spraying bullets wildly.
All right, so the bullet sprayed at the car, like say hello to your little friend style, and somehow completely missed you. And at that point, JJ makes an aggressive move because he sees a deer jumping out from the right side of the road.
One of them
right
very
across.
common San Franciscan deers.
Presidio, so it jumps out from the right side of the road, and he masterfully, given his natural 20 roll, just perfectly swerves right and then left, and literally, without missing a beat, without touching the brakes, misses the deer and just keeps going right on in front of him. So at that point, the guy in the back gets up and tries again. And
As soon as he gets up, I'm going to take a shot right at his head.
okay, roll a shooting check. D20 plus shoot.
I was ready for him. 18.
Okay, so 18. You're aiming. You got him aiming right at his head.
Left-handed, by the way.
What's that? Left.
People
yes.
can't see it, but Kurt's
Right.
using his right
So
hand.
right at his head.
He's left-handed, yes.
Given the speeds that you're moving, you don't hit him in the head, but the shot comes and hits him, blasts hard across the right shoulder, and throws him back in his seat. And he,
Hopefully some blood splatter lands on Victor.
blood
That's the
splatter
idea here.
does
I
land on
want
Victor.
him to understand that
Right.
we are in control here.
So at least for the moment, that guy is incapacitated.
Even though I
He's
just
had
woke
his
up from being passed out.
upper pectoral muscle blasted with a round. What were we shooting? Pistol or shot?
It would be a
Pistol.
pistol.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Lance's preferred firearm is a pistol because it's a one-handed weapon,
Right,
and
which-
he's one-handed.
which is only going to work when you're very close. So if the cars separate, you're not going to have much.
Oh, yeah.
But you're close enough.
But
now.
he's really good, and his shot will still be good from 100 yards if it's aimed right.
Meanwhile, for the people at home, JJ is completely stressing over the San Francisco map, which
Yep.
is stressing me out.
I'm
just gotta go
looking
with
at
it.
So how
I'm looking-
close are we from that convertible?
I'm
Victor's
going
car?
to engage ludicrous speed and accelerate.
Okay.
We're going to go plaid.
Are you going to try to
going
get
to
in front of
plaid.
him or beside him, or what are you
I'm
doing?
going to
us
ram him.
Yeah, I want to get out on the hood.
Are you going to fishtail him?
I want to jump.
Ramming speed.
Convertible. I want to get out there.
Are you going to fishtail him?
All right,
jump.
so
Get close enough.
at this point,
Anyone else a last starfighter?
At this
fan?
point,
Ramming
we are
Death-
at the
Death
X
Blossom.
on the map
Ramming
in Presidio
speed.
Boulevard. This is
Where
only-
Presidio turns into Lincoln.
Yeah, this has only been seconds. By the way, this is fairly close to where Lucas Arts had one of their studios. Was down here in the Presidio. I know all this because I used to run this loop all the time.
How many films were you in? I mean, LucasArts
those are
films,
the
not the other
Kick.com.
ones.
He's on the kick.com. Yeah.
So
I
you guys
tried
are
to
right here. Okay,
clarify.
so at this point, you're trying to get up next to you or on the. What are you?
Yeah, just get me close to it. I'm gonna jump in because it's convertible, right? I'm gonna jump into it.
I was going to ram him in the back, spin him out.
Jeez Louise.
That'll work.
Well, I'll
too.
tell you what.
Simon
first,
is now our action star.
It's whatever he wants to do. He's driving.
JJ, roll 2d6.
Here.
Where'd they go?
I mean, I can see.
5.
right,
I
what's
mean,
your
things are
driving
happening
modifier?
fast, but I could
What's your
assume
driving modifier?
Simon
10.
would be able to say, "Pull up close. I'm
Okay.
going to jump in." I mean,
So JJ.
Oh, if he wants to ram it.
So JJ wants to ram it. So JJ comes up, gets close enough, does in fact ram the back of the car, hits it hard, as intended, but in doing so, actually, instead of spinning it or knocking it out, it just essentially drives the car forward off of you. It doesn't really have any adverse effect.
so he doesn't do that.
He does what he wanted, but it didn't.
Way to go,
lead
Andretti.
to a noticeable result. Meanwhile, you can tell that the driver, which I guess you think is Victor or is Victor, has basically just downshifted, hit the gas, and pulls 10 or 20 yards further ahead. So he's downshifted to get a pop of acceleration. So at this point, we're now coming down into here.
We still have somebody following us.
Yeah.
You did. You've put some ground on them. They're still back there, but they're
They're of no
100,
consequence at this
150
point.
yards
So
behind.
there's no use in Lance turning around and shooting behind.
there's not. You guys are flying away from.
So
them.
Lance is going to take a deep breath and point as accurately as he can with his prosthetic hand that Rebeccah has programmed for the Walther PPK at one of the rear tires of the Mercedes because it's rear-wheel drive.
Okay, awesome idea. I want to see if we can surge closer. Let's roll D20 driving.
28.
Awesome. All right, so exactly that happens. So JJ does the same thing. Downshifts, clutch, gas, boom, just enough to get a surge forward.
No need in a Tesla, but you got it.
It's not a manual?
No.
It's automatic.
It's all
It's
electric. It's
Yeah.
all power all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
I'm not kidding you.
100%. Electric is 100% torque anywhere. in the
Anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've been trying to say.
spectrum. Nah, it's electric.
It's
Boogie,
That's
boogie,
not-
Boogie, boogie, boogie.
Thank you.
All right, well, he does metaphorically. He pops the clutch, slams the
Yeah.
accelerator.
He makes the noises
forward.
that he's doing. Because that's Rellik.
The car doesn't make any noise, so Rellik
All right,
does.
so he, let's roll 2d6.
That's a 6 and a 2 on the dice, so 8 plus.
8 plus. Okay, so you do exactly that. You get close enough that this is a pop shot for you. You're 5 yards behind the thing. You
So
lean
now
out.
I'm looking at
You
this
Tell
in
me what you
slow
see.
motion. So Rebeccah has programmed the prosthetic hand, and the way it works is there are little gizmos and gadgets that Lance has no idea about, little servos and what have you. So the whole time the car's going along, we're bouncing on the streets. In the shot, his hand is like perfectly still, although his body's
Gyroscopic.
moving. Exactly. It's controlled by gyroscopes and all these fancy lines of code that she's written, and the bullet leaves the gun, and you just follow it with its vapor trail through right to the rear wheel of the driver's side rear wheel of the Mercedes,
Awesome.
and you hear.
Yep. Hits the wheel, smacks, and the Mercedes basically spins away from that almost immediately into what ends up being not just a 360, but almost like 540, 1.5 times around, and
Holy crap!
and slides off
I gotta
the
get
road.
my compass out to check this.
All right, so here is where the crash just happened.
Yeah. We're in the park. I love the park.
You guys are car spins out, everything's quiet. You guys, JJ, you slam the brakes.
Yes, and it does have brakes.
It does have brakes.
That's a good thing.
Do you have to press them?
Yes.
All right.
You just have to think about it.
Although it regenerates some of the energy, the kinetic energy, back into the battery.
Yep.
Okay.
Just in
Awesome.
case that matters.
All right, so you slam the brakes. They've spun out, and they've actually gone, it's kind of 50, 70 yards off the road here into the woods. And you, at that point, realize, looking around, that you are down on the flat of the park, and you are within eyesight of the Palace of Fine Arts, which is a bizarre, beautiful structure that is down in this part of the Presidio, and
It's
basically
nighttime too, since we just left the dinner party. It's dark.
This is late night. It's dark. It's one of the most beautiful places in the whole city, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's essentially like almost like the Greek Parthenon. It's like a domed structure. It's all lit with spotlights from below, and then it's set right on a small lake. I mean, very small, but a small pond with column structures radiating out from both sides. And this is a landmark in San Francisco that you would. So you guys are off on a road right over here, but you're within 200 yards of this structure. So you've got a pond out here in front. The light from this spotlit monument is reflecting off of the water, and there are these columns coming out of both sides, and essentially a path that walks around the lake. And as JJ slams the brakes, the car comes screeching to a halt, and you see Victor and one other person from the car running as fast as they can from their car towards the Palace of Fine Arts.
How far away are they from us?
70 yards.
No, see, I
70 to
say
100
I
total.
say based on Kurt's description, we all stop and stare at the structure in awe, and he gets away.
While the Tesla is a formidable roadster, it is not a
It is not a four-wheel drive vehicle.
off-road car. So we're going to get out and hoof it.
All
right. So
And Mickie stepped out for a moment.
Mickie
so,
presumably is
yeah.
downloading files before she gets out of the car.
She's definitely downloading.
All right,
Yes.
so and by the way, where we are, even though it sounds like this park is really isolated, we're only a few blocks off of the marina, which is just under Pacific Heights, which is like
and not far from the
bustling.
Golden Gate Bridge for that.
Exactly, and so actually from here, if we
Or
look,
Alcatraz, where Victor's going for the rest of his life.
so from here, where we were driving, the Palace of Fine Arts is here. Alcatraz is in the bay off to our kind of northeast as we look, and the Golden Gate Bridge is running kind of north from us. So it's literally like one of the most picturesque places that you could be at this particular moment. But none of that matters.
One of the things about
because-
Alcatraz is that there's sharks around it too. I mean, he's Sharkanov, right?
That's true. I don't think we're going to make it to Alcatraz, though. It's there's a good chance.
Sounds like a dare.
So you've got these two guys who are running towards the Palace of Fine Arts, and you've got at least one car that's now barreling down the hill towards you from behind,
And
presumably
Mickey's
with
done
goons.
downloading her files, so she's back.
And Mickie has downloaded her files, and so she is up for it. So you're going to have to tell me how this plays out, particularly given that Gimpy is now not driving, but presumably walking or running.
Oh, it's it's easy. I'm going to pop a bunch of pills.
All right, what does that do?
So you asked us in the character creation process to select a unique trait. I said that I would be able to quote unquote rage a la D&D
Right.
by popping pills to make the pain go away enough that I can actually perform my duties. So
He said
Awesome.
duty.
I said
He said
duties.
duty.
So you pop pills, and how long will this buff last for?
That's a good question.
And is
Probably
there any
until-
downside to it?
Oh yeah, because however long I need the pain to be gone, it's back doubly so for double the time.
Okay.
Now, when that happens too, this might be the first time that Rellik is more agile than Lance. Because Lance has just got shot in the leg. Now, granted, he's got a
Right.
belt or something around there to help stop the bleeding. He's
Right.
got
I'll hand the
tourniquet.
rest of the pills to him.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to be suffering.
Right. And so just so we know, based on kind of background here, Lance has high marksman skills.
Yeah.
Rellik is a fighter and a martial artist. But Simon, you are, acrobatic, kind of cat burglar type skills, and you're the only one who's not injured or naturally lame at this point. And so
Right.
you're kind of at full
Well,
speed.
yeah, full speed.
Did I
and
get hurt?
And then I was just going
Well,
to
you're
say,
wearing a dress. What kind of shoes you wearing?
well, and
Yeah,
I would've
you're in
kicked
a
the shoes
sparkly
off.
black dress.
exactly. So Mickie gets -2 to anything athletic
those
that
shoes
she's
off.
wearing.
What the fuck? I
Unless
could
you
take
wanna-
my heels off. I could kick
She
the
made
heels
a
off.
point to say that she had a slit.
Slit
Yeah.
up
Could
my
be-
leg
you're
so
right.
I
You
could
can always
run.
make another slit too. Don't matter.
Yeah.
If you tell me you do it, it happens.
She's going to rip the dress
yeah.
off and run
Rip.
through the park.
Rip.
Yeah, so we're in
Take
a
the
full-
shoes off. Full out sprint.
Yeah, we're full.
All right, so everyone roll a D20
And
plus
add-
agility.
Oh, ooh, that would be 13
26.
for Lance.
20.
26.
Now, the plan for Lance would be just to try and cover them. If I see anybody show up,
Yep.
I'm going to try and cover for them because I know I can't make it up to the front.
Okay, so in line, just by chance with what you rolled, is exactly what I would have expected just happened. So
right.
Simon and Rebeccah, you guys are flying.
Yeah,
like
full
you were
sprint.
right behind them, full sprint.
Yep.
You've got them in their sights. You're not losing them. You guys are behind, still moving with them, but not as quickly. And because of that, you realize that you are the rear guard, and so you're also going to cover, to some degree, whatever comes up behind. Does that
I'm going
sound
to take
reasonable?
a chase angle.
What?
I'm going to take a chase angle.
Okay, describe it.
So if he's running to point B and we're at point A, I'm going to follow past C, the hypotenuse.
Okay? So it looks like he's running towards the main dome at the Palace of Fine Arts, but there's the pond in front of you, so he's going to have to go kind of
Right.
a circle around on the right to get there. As far as you can tell, he's just fleeing instinctively. There's no
Master plan
There's
for
no
him.
master plan here. He's trying to get away from you guys.
Yeah.
So remember, he just tried to kill two of you, and it did not work. So, and now at this point, all right. So I'm gonna fast forward. You guys are right on his tail. You guys are bringing up the back. The guys from behind are now getting closer.
I'm going to try and keep them away. That's the idea. For me, I know I can't keep up with the fleet of foot at this point, and I'm just going to be watching for anyone who's going to join in and mess with things.
Okay, so at this point, the guys behind you, you've taken some pot shots at them, and they know that you're shooting, and so they have broken up,
Okay.
and they've now kind of snuck into the woods or I mean, there's pine trees and bushes and hedges all around here, and so they basically have broken off so that you can't see them behind you.
Okay.
And
So I drop the magazine out of the pistol and put in the last one, and I'm ready to finish them off if need
all right,
be.
so Victor
Movie
and
style. Clip.
Victor
yeah.
and his right hand man, whoever that is, have now. You saw them.
That's
Simon.
the guy who's taking a shot in the shoulder already, right?
No, that was the guy in the back seat. There were
Oh,
three
there
of
was
them.
another
up there.
one. Okay,
Yep.
okay.
So there's three of them, and you've seen them actually kind of enter into this open domed area.
Okay.
And you and Rebeccah are, within 50 or 100 yards. You can see them. They know you're behind them. You've not engaged them, and you guys are,
Way
50
back.
yards
I-
to
for
150
me, I'm
yards.
thinking way back.
Okay.
I'm probably still within sight of the car, for that matter.
And you have people that you now can't see that you know are hostile to you somewhere around. So, you guys from here, tell me what happens.
Well, I'm full blast, just trying to catch up to him to get close enough to take a shot because running that fast and trying to shoot, it's not going to work.
Right. So, and are you handgun? Or are you
Handgun right now, but I'm hoping to take a machine gun off one of those guys.
Okay. What about you, Rebeccah?
Becky is running right behind Simon. She's pulled out her small handgun that she had strapped to her thigh and is just trying to catch up with them to get close enough to get a shot in.
Now,
Okay.
the guy in the back of the Mercedes convertible had a
I thought he was still
submachine
alive
gun.
and running, though.
No,
The guy in the
because
back?
Yeah.
There's
No.
three of them.
Yeah.
I
But
thought only two were running, though.
Victor and his right-hand man, you've seen stayed together. The third guy is still out there, but you don't know where he is.
So when you passed the convertible, you probably couldn't grab
Like
the
they all
convertible.
ran off, and you tracked Victor and his guy, and
Okay.
somewhere along the way, this third guy is.
Yeah, go.
So there are at least 5 bad guys out there with you,
Okay.
of whom
Okay.
you have eyes on the main 2 in the dome, and the other 3 at least are out there somewhere.
All right.
One of whom is injured. By the way, I'm envisioning you kind of like La Femme Nikita, like Maggie Q at this point, just so you know.
Thanks.
You can feel the blades of grass between your toes.
All right,
as you're
JJ, what are
running.
you doing?
I'm still chasing, looking to do a cutoff angle. Like basically, they're running straight for it. I'm going to run for like a probable exit.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're paying attention to us, and he's going to,
Okay, so you're
Flank
going
him later.
to come around and kind of flank them or cut them off.
we'll keep him busy. Then he shows up.
Cut him off at the
nowhere.
pass.
Okay.
And all I'm doing is looking for somebody that's hostile to shoot them. That's
Okay.
it. Nothing
All right.
else.
So, roll me a d4, Joe.
4.
Oh, awesome. So, as you're coming along,
Yeah.
you are running, which
Horribly hobbled and limping.
right, I was gonna say is not
I'm
even close to full
greatly
speed.
exaggerating my injury.
As you're running, though, you literally by chance see. So now we're, I don't know, maybe 200 yards from the palace, from the dome. The guy from the back seat
Okay.
is now like lying
the one I
down,
already
holding
shot
his
in the
wound,
shoulder, right.
like
Yeah.
like he's got a machine gun lying by his side, and he's still alive, but he is on the ground, literally in front of you.
Okay. I kick him as hard as I can in the head and grab the machine gun.
All right.
Jeez.
Like Charlie Brown, Lucy style.
Like I'm not going to shoot him. I'm not going to kill him, but I'm going to
Right,
just
just try and knock
put him
him
out
out.
of his misery for now. Not
Okay.
kill him, but knock him out.
All right. So, I mean, you succeeded that. You kick him upside the temple. He goes out like a light, and you grab,
A Krinkov or something.
What's
the,
that?
the Russian guys, right? So a Krinkov, like a miniature, like
yeah, I was
AK,
gonna say, yeah, that sounds good. I was gonna say it's not a full like AK, but
a
it's
little crink.
Now, I wouldn't plan to use it because my hand is not currently calibrated for something like that. However, I'll hold it in case it's needed. In case I need a fully automatic.
Well, this is
type
going to
of
give
thing.
you more distance
Yeah,
than
more
what
range.
right now.
Yeah.
Simon's got a handgun, which is even with for him is only good to maybe 50 meters.
However, because
Not 50.
I'm figuring Lance, as he's moving right now, every time he steps on that leg, he's saying, ow, ow, ow. Right. So he's like 20 miles ahead.
But
of
you've
him
got
at
a
this
weapon
point.
that you can use from
Yeah.
a distance
Yeah.
or that you can give to someone.
Yeah.
So, Becky, what's happening?
Am I close enough to shoot?
It's Rebecca.
Rebecca.
She's calling herself
Rebecca.
Becky.
It's Rebecca.
It's Rebecca.
Okay,
Unless you
Rebecca.
say Hecky first, it's not Becky.
You and Simon are up there, and you do not have a clear shot at Victor or his main henchman, but you are you are one of you. Like they've gone into this dome, and so they're somewhere over on this side, and you are basically coming in from the other side. But remember, this is all columns all over here, so there's like it's very easy for them to duck behind things and.
You should
hide.
totally parkour.
So we didn't see where they went, or we lost.
You
track
did.
of-
You saw them there. You've seen them run across under this dome in the Fine Arts Palace, and they're basically on the far side right now.
Okay.
I'm
So-
picturing the computer geek parkour in a black sequin dress. That's
Parkour.
pretty freaking cool right
I
there.
mean, you could shoot at them, but it would be a difficult hand.
It would be a difficult handgun shot. So could
can
I
still see him
just do
running
some
then.
Yeah, yeah.
acrobatics?
Okay, all right.
Acrobatics, kind of trying to get build up some momentum, run at one of these columns to backflip and try to get over to where they are.
Of course.
He was like, "What the hell did he
roll
just?"
2d6?
2d6.
What's the end result, Mickey?
I want to get close enough to put one of them in a chokehold.
So hang on. What'd you roll?
Get close enough to him.
2 5s.
2 5s plus dex. What's your dex?
It is 3.
Yeah.
So 13.
So you do Tell me exactly what you just did.
Dex
You
or
did it.
agility?
Dex.
On this one, dex.
Okay.
It would be Dex. There's no agility thing.
Agility is the skill. Dex is the main thing.
That's a skill. This is an attribute. Anyways, so what I was saying is we're running towards this domed area. She sees that they are that way on the other side. So she's going to kind of make a beeline towards the side, build up some momentum, and use one of the columns to springboard off and get over to where they are and kind of have their body break her fall.
Okay.
So you think kind of like a flying jump kick
Uh-huh.
to knock one of them down
All right.
and take them out.
That's damn cool.
All right. And I'm going to decide that you do that and you succeed, but not on Victor, on his henchman.
On his henchman.
All right. So,
That's fine.
So are you knocking him out with a chokehold? Is that
Well,
what
I used his body to break my fall,
Uh-huh.
right? So then it's a roll and chokehold to try to get him to pass out.
All right. So roll.
Do like a flying triangle on them.
So like a leg
Like
lock?
a triangle, yeah, flying like a triangle choke, but flying. She could do a flying triangle on them, you know.
The last thing he sees is her Hello Kitty panties.
Yeah, seriously.
How did you know I was wearing Hello Kitty?
All
You're a
right, I like
computer
it.
geek.
So
I mean, come on.
You definitely make the move. You get him. You have him, and you are going to some degree incapacitate him. Let's roll a roll 2d6 plus strength first.
I have no strength.
Now, Kurt, why are we doing 2d6 sometimes instead of a d20?
That's
Just
the way I want to do
just
it.
the way you want to handle it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because fuck you, that's why.
I understand that. I just want to know, for those listening who might be curious, why we switch between a d20 and 2d6. And I don't mean to interrupt the flow, but
Seems like he's doing with the skill, like the attributes to 2d6, and then with your skills, like one of the d20.
Yeah,
Is that
I
how
mean,
it's working?
everything could be a skill, but I don't want everything to be like a skill check. I want some of it to just be like, how did I generally do this?
Right.
And if the crazier it is, the more likely I am to go to the dungeon world 2d6.
Yeah.
so Mickey this time got a
8.
Total of an 8?
Yeah, I have no strength.
Okay, so you've got him in a chokehold of some
Yeah,
kind.
triangle
It's effective. I mean, 8 is
With
so
your
you're putting him
thighs.
down. It's
It's
just
taking
taking
long,
longer
yeah.
than you wanted. So
Yeah.
you got him. You're
Well,
working him
Enough
and
to
he-
get him out of the picture so that Simon can take out What's
Right.
his name?
So instead of him going out in 4 seconds, like you've got him, you're in control. But
Taking her time.
This is going to take you a while. So
Did he drop his,
Simon, you need to decide if you're going to help her or you're going to go after Victor or what else.
If that guy that she's choking out has dropped his weapon, I just want to, like, as I'm running by, pick it up. So I got something a little bit more longer range.
No problem. So
I figure she could take care of that
right.
guy.
So he's got a submachine gun. He's got a sidearm on his hip, and then he's got actually one single grenade strapped to his belt. So you can grab whatever you
Pull
think
the
you
pin
can grab.
and let him run.
I'll grab the grenade and the submachine gun.
All right. JJ, what are you doing?
I'm still
So-
running
so
around.
wait.
Is there any? Do I see? Have I actually made it there yet?
Yeah, so
because they're much faster than I was.
They are, but they're now tied up and kind of playing around in here, and so I think tell me if you like this, but you basically have gone around the back side of this dome, and you're now essentially coming behind them.
Yeah.
So you'll either block if they run out the way they were going, or if you want to, you could actually come in so that you guys sandwich them.
I mean, Victor's starting to run out that back way too, right? Like he kind of stopped to see what the heck was going on. And
Right.
So yeah, I actually set up shop and wait for Victor to come out the backside.
Okay. And Joe, you are still kind of back here, but you've got a longer range
do
gun.
I perceive any other threat coming in from behind?
You do not.
Then what I would do is, as much as I can from the distance where I am, just take a knee and start aiming towards Victor.
Okay.
If I can see him, I will start aiming.
Okay.
Now, my hand is currently programmed from Rebeccah for my pistol. Mm-hmm. However, I will take that submachine gun or whatever it was that I picked up and start aiming at that because I know it has a better range.
All right. So now, Simon, you at the party, you had extensive time while you were walking around to observe
Like thinking about it, yeah.
observe Victor and his environment, and you need to decide because you're going to be the one, you or Lance, who's going to decide what happens to Victor here. In the sense that if you catch him, I mean, you're presumably going to be able to kill him. So,
I don't want him dead. I want to know what the hell he was up to. That's my opinion. Rebecca's one of his targets. He just tried to kill her. So.
Right.
And my hand is useless without her programming skills. Therefore, I need her alive.
Right. So at this point, you've got, I think.
Oh, and you're my friend. Sorry.
Yeah, not that you care about her.
Yeah, there's that too.
I think you've got two thugs that are still kind of out there. The ones from the car behind that you.
Well,
haven't
that's why I was
taken care of.
asking if there was no threat. If there was no threat,
They're there, but you don't perceive.
Okay.
You don't perceive them, and then you've got Victor.
Okay.
And at this point, Rebeccah has choked out the henchman, so he's out of commission. So you're like, "Ah!" and then just
with her thighs though.
Kind of Sonya.
You said it, not I.
A little Sonya from Mortal Kombat.
All right. So at this point, so you're in the thing, and Victor's like, you have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what you're messing with. This is so much bigger than I.
Oh, he's not running anymore. He's stopped and he's trying to talk to us.
He's not trying to talk. He's on the far side, and he's trying to hide and stall. He knows he can't outrun all of you.
Right.
So Lance will be sitting there looking through the sights of this weapon. Presumably it won't have a scope, but looking through the sights of the weapon for the moment where Victor sticks an arm or leg or crotch out where he can take a shot. As soon as that happens, the shot goes off.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so he says that like, this is, you have no idea what you're getting involved for. If you kill me, you will not live through the week.
And
I'm just trying to listen to see where he is to try to pinpoint where he's
and
at.
some of us are probably still in contact through through tech. I will say
Lance,
I'm ready for the shot.
Yeah,
as soon as you bring him out.
He's not that hidden. I mean, you know where he is. You just don't quite have the shot yet. So
I'm going to start walking.
You're within 50 yards
toward him. At this point, I imagine the drugs are starting to wear off, and I'm feeling a little bit run down. So I'm stupid now.
What's up,
But you're
old man?
blocking the escape. I mean, he's not going anywhere. Like, this is going to end one way or the other because he's not going to get out of there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'm like a hunter trying to flush the grouse.
Right.
We need him alive, Simon.
Is your microphone off?
No.
Can you hear her?
What?
I said we need him alive, Simon.
I hear. Okay.
That might not be up to me. He looks familiar. I think I know him from somewhere.
While you guys are talking amongst yourselves and wasting time,
Is it from
I'm trying to get closer to where
right.
he's.
So
you know-
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Kate.com?
I'm walking toward him.
right. So
Oops.
3 shots. Victor pops off 3 shots almost randomly, 2 of which miss completely, and 1 of which goes whizzing right by your ear and
Right.
hits the stone behind you. You hit the deck.
Okay, but I know where he
You're
is
lucky
now.
you just did not get your head blown off.
Yeah, but I know where he is now.
Correct.
All right, I'm gonna. I got the.
Get enraged because he just hit the Palace of Fine Arts.
Well, if I know where he is, I'm just gonna like a slow run. Well, maybe even like I'll do a fast walk over whatever pillar's behind, laying down rounds like pop, pop, pop from the crank.
And you're the cat burglar. You've got the
Yeah.
cat burglar, so you're agile, so you can be bouncing around.
Well, no, I just want to keep him pinned. Like he's not gonna stick out if I'm putting rounds into the pillars behind.
Right. Okay. So.
But I want to quickly get there so I could,
Okay. So you're bearing in from the back. You're bearing in on him, and you're sitting waiting.
I am
He's just waiting to see if he sticks his head out.
Yeah, as soon as a limb other than his head, I'm not
Yeah.
going to shoot him in the head because we need information.
Shoot him in the knee.
Something exactly.
Yeah, kneecap him.
Anything that comes out other than his head will get a bullet from
Okay.
this
So roll me your shooting
Russian
check.
rifle. 18.
Total.
Yeah,
Okay.
8 plus 10.
All right. And so while you're moving up,
and shooting rounds into the pillars behind. So
right,
he's
so
not
you're
trying-
shooting, and he's so he shoot, you shoot, boom, boom. You're actually thoughtful, methodical, boom, boom. At that point, he comes back out to do another kind of spray,
Right.
and when he sticks out to spray to prevent Simon from coming, that's when you see that you have the shot you want,
Yep.
and tell me what happens because you're going to make it.
Okay, so I'm just thinking the picture in my head. So Simon's drawing him with methodical gunfire, and as soon as Victor thinks he has a shot, and he peeks around the corner, again that one shot flies from this. What was
Crank
it?
off. It's like a small AK. It's like a
So
short.
it's this small AK was it was like a 7mm?
7.62, it's- yeah,
7.62. So
about 39 millimeters.
yeah, a pretty large round
Yeah, it'll-
flies out of the weapon towards him, and actually for this, let's just say I shoot the gun right out of his hand, and maybe leave his hand numb or something at the time. Maybe leave him in a little bit of shock. As
He'll take
it
his hand
hits.
off.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So his he's as I said, just reaching out, kind of almost blind firing out, and exactly what you said happens, and his
Bam.
4 fingers get blown off, and the gun
Yeah.
goes flying, and you hear him just howl in pain, and so there's not gonna be any more shooting there.
Yeah.
And
I love
Yeah.
the smell of finger blood in the
I'll.
morning.
Do I? What languages do I know? Because I know you said.
all right. So you have to know.
Do you know Shark?
I know German.
You have to know Azeri Turkish. You have to know German. You have to know Chinese.
So Turkish, you said I know.
Yeah, it's
What I can't remember what it.
sorry. It's Azerbaijani Turkish is the language.
You know German as well, right? Yeah.
German, Chinese.
You know
Turkish.
Turkish in multiple dialects, but you're going to need
All
to know Azerbaijani Turkish, German, Chinese, Russian, and then you can pick at least a 5th language that you're fluent in.
English.
No, plus he has 5
No,
plus
actually, he doesn't know English. That's the tricky part here.
and you would have cursory knowledge. I mean, you probably know Spanish, realistically. I mean, if you know Turkish and Russian, you
Oh, I
probably
know it
Spanish.
mixes a certain thing.
But you also are going to be able
Hold on,
to.
how does Turkish and Russian mean you automatically know Spanish?
They're incredibly difficult languages to learn, and the type of people who generally can learn Russian will have learned
Will have
Spanish
learned
in a year.
Spanish
But
is
you,
easy.
just because I say you don't know French doesn't mean you can't get by in
Right,
French. It
I-
just means you're not fluent. Like you
Yeah.
can't
Yes.
bluff through a cocktail party.
Right, gotcha.
But you are
Monsieur,
fluent.
you can fake it very well, yes?
Voulez-vous?
Russian, Chinese, German,
Je vous,
and
je vous.
Turkish. And the reason that you're fluent in Turkish is why?
Yeah, of course. So I asked him in Russian, when's the last time you were in Istanbul?
Gotta say punk ass bitch.
Punk ass
Right.
bitch.
And so you're standing over him at this point.
Yeah.
His
Thank
hand
you,
is
Mickie.
bleeding off.
Yeah, and I got the crink.
And so you speak to him in Russian, and you say, "When was the last time you were in Istanbul?" And you see his face just like drop, and he just knows like
Yeah.
he's in trouble.
And then I barrel punch him. Bam! Knock him
Bam,
out.
and knocks him out.
We need to take out his other 3 goons, don't we?
No, because
We need to get the hell out of
Yeah.
here.
we have them now.
Yeah, if we took out the head of the snake, then the others don't know how to down the road anymore.
Still want to
Where
take
else
them out.
would
They
I-
shot at me. And they ripped my dress.
I thought you did that.
I thought you did that.
She's gonna blame it on them though. They're getting the bill.
It's
All
their
right,
fault.
screw it, I'll shoot him.
You don't have any sign of them. Like they've seen Victor and his right hand man go down, and you've taken them out, and You don't have any reason to believe that they are.
Victor's right hand and Victor's right hand.
Yeah.
Took his right hand and his right hand. All right, so he's knocked out. He's unconscious, lying literally in the middle of the beautiful Grecian dome in the Palace of Fine Arts for you guys to
take him where we need.
Eventually, Lance would make his way up to him, and because I blew all the fingers off his right hand, I would point to my prosthetic left hand and say, "You really need one of these, guy. You really need one of these.
Hey, let me give you a hand."
I'm not so sure that the condom condor is going to like the fact that you blew his fingers off.
We do need to call that crazy chimpanzee and see if we can get extracted from this area.
So you know that further research is going to be needed, but Simon, so your team already knows about what happened to your wife.
And it took me a while to recognize because maybe back in the day he had a beard. Now he doesn't have a beard, or he looked a little bit different. It took me a while to recognize who
It's
he
like
was.
DC has a face mask at the time. You had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Right. So long before he joined the team, Simon's wife was killed in the 2003 British consulate bombings in Turkey. And after that was a major incident. It was actually followed up by an attack in London, but it was fairly clear that those consulate bombings were an inside job by the Turkish military that were as part of a coup or an attempt to destabilize the regime.
Yep.
And as the investigation in those played, and this is all stuff you would know because your wife was killed there, so you've been fixated on it.
Oh, yeah, big time.
As the investigation unwound over the course of years, the evidence against a number of the parties for the coup and the destabilization was found to have all been digitally faked. So there were documents that were supposedly written in 2003, at the time of the consulate bombing, that were actually written on Word 2007. There were photos that were doctored. There were emails that were sent through, appeared to have come from IP addresses that didn't actually come from those IP addresses.
So how much of this did Country Corn Dog know about? CC, Country Corn Dog.
Well,
are we being played?
So
No.
No?
What Simon realized while he was working the party is that he recognized from his research in these files that he has seen Victor's photo, Victor Sharkarov, in the file for the 2003 consulate bombings.
All right, so my thought is
Investigation.
we're just sent to check this stuff out, but there's stuff that links to a
There's
guy
back
who's been
history.
looking
Like this,
right,
he's doing something new now with these hackers, but
Right.
he's linked back to something that's important to my character. Yeah.
Right. And
I'm
so,
going to have words, too, with the Cosmic Cucumber, because there was obviously that, they couldn't get to Hacky Becky without drawing her out using these methods.
Yeah, Curious Cupcake and I are going to have a conversation as well.
Better get
'Cause
Chim Chim on the line.
How would he get...
I mean, what you know about
Chim already.
the Turkish... So originally there was a Turkish Islamist militarist group that was blamed for the coup, but there's no way that they could have done that. They didn't have the resources to do this. So it was obviously part of a larger plot to destabilize Turkey, which is a major U.S. ally in the Middle East, close to Europe. And what you know from your research is that there's a belief that Iran was strongly involved in that plot. It's never been proven. And so what you now realize as you're looking at this guy lying on the ground bleeding out underneath you is that there's some tie between a Russian tech specialist who's killing hackers and Iran that played out through Turkey that may or may not have resulted in the death of your wife.
Right.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
So where it goes from there is ultimately up to you.
Yeah, we could pull more at the web.
And with that,
So let's pause. Let's stop this one or pause this one for now, and let's talk about how it went. Kurt, first, from the GM perspective, how do you think it went? What I want to know is, what did you plan, and how did it work out compared to how we actually played it?
I have to reveal my secrets.
No.
Well, you can let
for
us know.
example, did you plan on us doing X with the guy in the German dorm? Did you plan on us doing it? I mean, how close did we come to what your original plan was?
All right, so I have not game mastered really ever.
Yeah.
So my thought was, one, have you guys make characters that would be easily distinguishable types from each other, but also have reasons to interact, and then set up, for recording purposes, a plot that was fairly linear in the sense that I didn't want you to spend 45 minutes saying, like, well, should we go to Berlin or should we go to Uzbekistan?
Right, yeah.
But it was mapped out only at the highest level of I picked 3 cities and I picked an event in each one. And so for the first one, I said, okay, I want the first one to be fast, action-packed, car chase shootout. Mm-hmm. And then however it goes, it goes. And then I wanted, a couple more clues, and then I wanted the San Francisco one to be basically kind of diplomatic. I might have liked maybe a little more persuasion type charmy stuff, but I think it played fine. And then I wanted to have that dramatic moment with you being trapped in the room and put a clock on it.
I really like the 3-minute timer, by the way. I like that you forced us to act.
And then the last episode was almost unplanned. I had on my sheet, I had 4 options for how the last episode could go. And I was literally going to kind of see how it felt after the second episode and see where you guys wanted to go and what made sense. And based on the timing of how things were playing, I chose to keep it closer to the San Francisco piece rather than going to a totally new geographic location. And I think that was probably the right call in terms of timing.
I like that you played to your strengths because it seemed like you've been most of the places we've been.
Yes, correct. And that part of that was when I originally planned it, the first scene was going to be in Berlin, but I've never been to Berlin. And I was like, I'm just going to be making this up, so it's going to just feel like a generic city, whereas like Heidelberg, that square, the university, like I've seen that, so in my mind I see exactly what that scene looks like.
That's cool.
That definitely helps, yeah.
But it's funny, and so I didn't want to over prepare because I didn't want to feel like I was super railroading you. But on the other hand, you want to have prepared enough that
kind of keep.
And that's also why I said it in locations that I knew and liked, was so that if you took a flyer and went east instead of west, I could have said, okay, you're flying down over Russian Hill and into I could have played it that way. Whereas if it were in Austin, Texas, I couldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, my main worry, and you guys were very generous in just going along with it, was the mechanics of the rolls. And it worked the way I wanted it to, which is I didn't fudge anything, but I did choose how you rolled when you rolled. And if we were playing a long-term campaign, I would be more consistent about doing it a set way so that you had a little bit more set expectation. But really, all I was trying to get was at key moments, you rolled, and if it was something you were really good at, barring that 10% chance, you succeeded. And if it was something that you weren't good at,
25% chance.
A chance.
D4. That's right. But even that, your failures weren't major failures. Like if you're the driver, swinging around a corner and hitting the wall for
he didn't roll anything.
I ruined your car. It's not like I knocked you out of the scene.
Who wants to go next? What do we think?
I liked it. I liked how it unfolded. I think you did a really good job of moving the story along. I was interested the whole time. So overall, I think it went well. Better than expected.
What'd you like about your character?
How weird she is. Like she has one particular set of skills that she's developed over a lifetime of dealing with people like this. And that's all she could really do. Like she's pretty much useless any other way.
Well, and you all have characters that if this were a campaign, you could play out other skills. Like
I
mean, on a one shot, you really almost have to have to pick the one trait and go with it, which is why I asked you to pick a specialty and a unique thing. It was just give me 1 or 2 things to work with. But if we were playing a 30-episode arc, we would spin them much deeper and have more nuanced skills and all of that.
What do you think, Chris?
I thought it was awesome, man. I thought it was it had that little bit of mystery to kind of figure what the heck's going on. We don't know the whole story yet, so that's still cool. Yeah. But the action level was very exciting.
That was the main challenge planning. I had a more nuanced way to find out what was going on with the shark, with the BFN. And if you're keeping the game moving, you can't get into that too deep in a one shot. You've just got to kind of go with it. So.
I know from my character's perspective and myself, I'd like to think at this point that my programmer is saved, right? Because the people that were out to get the white hat hackers are now at least temporarily stopped.
Right.
So that my programmer has been saved, and that's a good thing.
Right. And that's definitely true. So if this continued, this is one piece of a larger plot to destabilize Western democracies that Russia and Iran and maybe other parties are coordinating. But the immediate attack on Rebeccah and the hacker community is over.
JJ, you get the final feedback. What do you think?
Like I said before, I really appreciated that Kurt being a quote-unquote beginner DM. I'd say he's an experienced role player, but beginner DM. I like that he did locations that were familiar to him. I also appreciate that he kind of took real-life things that are happening now, like all these accusations about Russia messing with our election and everything else like that, and kind of spun that into our story as well. I like that a lot.
Awesome.
Very cool. Well, Kurt, thank you very much for running this. What would you call this adventure if you had to give it a name? Because I've just said it, so now you do.
I got one if he doesn't have one.
Yeah?
I don't off the top of my head, but
I would say swim with the sharks.
I was thinking sharks in the water, but swim with the sharks is better.
Swim with the Sharks. I'm going to write that. SWTS will be the acronym that I use.
AFTS, SWTS.
Exactly. In the meantime, we're going to wrap this one up for now. We may revisit Kurt's adventure soon or at some point in the future.
Appreciate your guys playing and letting me do it.
Thanks for doing
I
it.
had
I
a
had fun.
lot of fun.
Awesome.
We'll wrap this one up for now and say...
Bye, everyone.
Thanks
for listening. Penisage.
Spy penises.
You want to say anything, Kurt?
He said enough.
Go with God.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.